Hello everybody, welcome back to my layout. In today's video, we're going to be going over how I install each one of my turnout switches. Now, I do have two different types. Why do I have two different types? Well, I bought these originally, the tortoise switches. They're about 15 to 20 bucks a piece. They work really well. And then later on, I was using a different system like DCC-EX, and they run off of servos. These are about $1, $2 a piece. So I went out and bought a bunch of these, and I stopped buying these. Now, I still have these, so I'm going to use them. I use an LCC network to run my switches, which allows me to use both of them. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how we install the servos and what we use and how we use the mounting brackets, and then how I install the tortoise switches using Eric Hall's new tortoise switch mount. So this was pretty cool, and I'm very excited to use this. It makes it a lot easier to install tortoises, because we all know how much of a pain in the butt it is to mount these and screw them at the same time while keeping the wire in the turnout. So that's what we'll be seeing in this video. Okay, I'm going to go over how I put my servos together and what I use. So this is 1/2 inch wide U channel, and I have the measurements up on the screen right now for what I use. I have 40 thousandths styrene there, a good servo, and then my scissors. I'm using 0.32 wire for my switches, and I like to make them into a little J like that. I just slide it into that last hole right there, and then try to do this. Just slide into any hole I can get this in. Slide like that, clamp it down, and then just bend it. Doesn't have to be bent a lot, just enough to hold it. So that's how I do that. And unfortunately, I have to put it on the side where the wire is, because it doesn't fit this way. So I have to put it this way. And then I just sit this in here like that. Oop. And slide this guy in here. This will make it nice and snug so it doesn't move. And that is how I do my servos. Gets this from Home Depot, Lowe's, real cheap. Cut it up and you got it. You can adjust it back a little bit if it's not straight. So I usually try to tuck this back somehow. Doesn't always work that great, but so far I haven't had it become an issue. I have two turnouts, one here and one here, that I have to put servos on. So after I got my servo in there, I cleaned up this, made sure it was nice, straight and tight. I'm going to place it this way underneath, and we'll see it pop up right there. Alright, so I have it in there. It takes a little bit to find, but you can see it right there. And that's a good amount to have up top for now. I'll just cut it off. I like to cut them when they're in the thrown position, because it's the longest position, and I'll cut it so then if I go too far, it won't pull out of the hole. I've had that happen before. So right now we'll take it and screw it in. So I will take my tweezers hold this, hopefully. There we go. And now we'll go to the bottom. So right here I'm using a number 6 wood screw, 1/2 inch. That worked out pretty good in between my feeders. Also, before I tighten it down, I can move it back and forth to line it up a little bit better. So I'll try to make sure that this piano wire is sticking straight up and down before I tighten it. And there you go. See how that hangs there? But it's going to be going back this way because that's where my servo IO is. And that's how you do it. So the other switch machine I use is the tortoise switch machine. Now we all know how hard it is to get the screws into these holes while this wire is inside of the turnout. So luckily, Eric Hall from Wild Hair Hobbies came up with this contraption. You just screw it to the bottom of the plywood, lining up this hole to where you need the wire to go. Put it in there, connect it there, and all you do is clip it in, and then with these screws that are loose, you can adjust it back and forth. I like to use these number 8 panhead screws. They're lathe screws, and they work out perfectly to go right into here. I also like to pre-wire all my switch machines with spade ends so I can just put them into terminals. So let me show you how that works. So now we want to line up this hole with this hole here. I did pre-drill the 2 holes just because it's easier on camera. But I just line that hole up right there. And now take my screw. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I just wanted to come back and show you how I do this. All these wires that I had pre-soldered onto there, I just put into a terminal strip like this. And the reason I do that is because if anything ever happens to this tortoise, all I gotta do is undo all these, take this out, fix it or replace it. I can cut all the wires off here and then resolder them onto the new one and just connect it into here. They all are color coded for the different positions here, and I like doing it this way because if I ever want to put lights on to indicate which way it's being thrown, the switch, I can do that. And my frogs, if I need them juiced, they're already wired in there. So just a little explanation of how I do this and why. Thank you again for coming to the video and checking it out. This was a product spotlight for Eric Hall. I really like this product. I would definitely endorse it. Too bad I'm not, but if I were, I would endorse it. It's a great product, and it makes it a lot easier setting these tortoises up and getting them lined up. And also, just a little insight into how I do the servos. They're really easy too, and I find this the same, just as easy to set up with this aluminum U-channel. So hopefully this video helped you out, and please don't comment, like, or subscribe. Remember, it makes sense if you don't think about it.